Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Aussie Chart Trends. Today's market update is for Thursday the 27th of September 2012. Today we're going to be checking out the asx200 and we're going to take a brief look at the smp500 also. But before we get into today's video, like always, I've just got to remind you guys that asx200.com.au and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as any form of investment advice. I'm not a licensed professional. You need to make your own decisions regarding your investments. I'm here just to help anyone searching for a practical direction in today's markets. Okay, so looking at the hourly chart here of the asx200, we can see today that we breached this yellow ascending line that we were talking about in yesterday's video. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch yesterday's video, this line is going back to around the 15th of July. We had 1 touch, 2, and 3. But today we breached this area. So what is going on with the asx200? It looked to me as if we were coming down in potentially a descending bullish wedge pattern. But I was happy with this bottom line here. But the reason why I didn't mention it in the video yesterday is because this top line, well, it only had 2 touches and it didn't really look that well established. You could easily state that this was just a descending channel, because there was a funky little pattern within this descending bullish wedge. One other thing that I do want to state though is because we did breach this area, I always question why that we broke such an area of support when it has acted as a strong area as support in the past. Now I think I've got the answer. If we draw a trend line just from this top over here, over the right shoulder of our little head and shoulders topping pattern over here, and we extend it out over this peak and we just bring it out, you can see exactly why we've got a bounce today. This market served as resistance up here, and then once we hit this area again, we served as resistance again. After getting over it, we've come back down now, briefly broke our area of support today that we've been watching, but then we had a perfect bounce on this area and the markets were able then to rally on back up and get over this yellow ascending line. Now the asx200 got underneath this area for about an hour today and we were able to get on back up, and we had then a perfect back test on this red line. Now as we know, this red line served as support for some time, and now after breaking it, we've rallied on back up and we've had a perfect back test and we closed right on this area. So the question remains, will the asx200 be able to crack over this red line in tomorrow's trade at around the 4,384 level? I would say then if we can get over this area, we'd be heading on then up to around the 4,410 area, and these 2 areas here of resistance should get met. I've drawn this red line over these 2 peaks here, and that should put up a little bit of a fight in tomorrow's trade if we can get on up there. If not, well, we've just got to keep our eye on these support levels here around the 4,360 area, and this lower descending support line now that we have on the chart should play out as a good area for a bounce. So guys, that throws a bit of a spanner in the works as to why we had a bounce here today. But I'm glad that I was able to actually find why we had a bounce here today, and it makes sense now as to why we breached this area briefly. Looking here on the smp500, in last night's trade we had another down day again, and the markets were able to come down and tag perfectly on this area of support here in the low 1430s. Then the markets proceeded to go sideways for the rest of the day. Guys, I still think that this lower boundary line here around the 1433 area will probably get taken out, and we should come down and probably tag on this blue line. Now if this blue line breaks, expect that the smp500 should come down to around the 1400 area, and I would say that we'd probably get a bounce on this line, and the reason being is because it's had a bounce many times before. I do want to remind you though that we are looking at a potentially large rising wedge pattern. Going back a few months, we can see that there is this large pattern, and if this lower boundary line breaks, well, we can expect then that this may put up a fight as support. But if this red line was to give way, well, I would say then we'd start heading down fairly strongly to the 1330s. So just keep that on your radar. So that's really much it for today, guys. Just in recap, keep your eye on the close around the 4,384 level. If we take that level out, expect that the markets will then go up to around the 4,410 area. But then, in short, if we break this area here, well, we've still got a few levels of support underneath us before heading lower. So I hope you guys are benefiting from these videos. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, all I ask is that you do subscribe. Thanks very much for your support, guys, and I really do appreciate your emails and your comments. I'll be back for the weekly review on Saturday, and be safe, and I'll see you guys then.